I don't know whether or not I want to open up this episode with the joke of let the sky fall, or perhaps since I did that one in the previous episode, we'll open up with it's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men. Dead men.
You can start with both. I don't know, but I guess the Skyfall one is much more recognizable.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of TERA CON PRIME TIME. I am your host, Jeremy.
And I'm your guest host this week, Morde.
Lovely to meet you, Morde. We've been hanging out in the Final Space Discord for quite some time. We're both big fans of this show, and we actually just watched Season 3, Episode 10, Until the Sky Falls. And first things first, I'm going to, let you lead with it. What did you rate this episode?
I would rate it like an 8 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 cookies, according to this podcast. And maybe a 9, but it's pretty close. But it's definitely one of my favorite episodes of the season.
Sure, and why would you rate it 9 cookies, let's say?
Well, I'll explain that a bit later, but basically, I think this is the most serious Final Space has ever been, and ever since I started watching the show, it's sort of the show I wanted it to be. It just took a while to be like that, but I understand it's a comedy as well, so... But yeah, that's why I would give it a 9, but it's not quite my favorite. That's forgiveness for me.
Sure, I mean, I'm definitely kind of right there with you. I'm going to give it an 8, though. Overall, really strong episode, like you were saying. It was very serious. The whole tone of the episode was, just sort of, we need to get this done immediately, otherwise there are going to be dire consequences. And throughout this episode, that was immediately true in multiple senses of the word. And honestly, I did not suspect that I would become so attached to even just sort of a minor supporting character, as it were, with Kevin Van Newton. And god damn, this episode. I mean, we start off, we're still on the Earth. We decided as a group, we as the team squad, I guess, as it were, decided as a group to not leave Final Space, even though the teleporter is right there, and they decide to, bite off maybe more that they could chew with killing a Titan. And, I mean, to be fair, they didn't know what Titan they were going to be killing. They just knew that, we have to launch the Kevin net, and who knows what that was really going to entail, until we got the Lord Commander arriving on scene and doing the unexpected, as it were, in the sense of he suddenly starts drilling towards the Earth's core because he knows something that we don't.
And he's also starting to, get sort of in, like a sort of fight between Invictus, like saying, I'm in charge now. But I'm having a feeling that that's not going to last very long. Less like a minion, I say. Like, even though he wants to be like a Titan, he's sort of acted like the second hand of Invictus, at least in the show.
Yeah, he's becoming more insubordinate to Invictus, especially with this new information now, that there is a Titan hatching in the middle of the Earth's core. And before we kind of get to that, which is obviously sort of a bombshell to the show, I have a little bit of a nitpick, just because, the Lord Commander finds out, he is shown and understands what's happening. We're shown, but we're just like, what the hell is he doing? But with his ship, this is my little gripe to pick. His drill that comes out would not be wide enough to actually let the rest of the ship follow down into the center of the Earth. Don't get me wrong. Same with the Dragonhawk 5's, drill bit as well, too. Both of these drills are not wide enough to actually let the surrounding ship burrow down into the Earth. But I guess I'll let this slide because this is, space opera fantasy world, as it were. So, like, whatever. But, like, that was, like, my one gripe. I was just like,
The last thing you'd expect in this show is realism, honestly, because many things in Final Space don't make sense. You just gotta, take it or leave it. Like whipping someone until he remembers everything. I still don't believe that had worked on Avocado on season 2. But yeah, I get your point. It's a nitpick.
at this point, we've lived in this show for almost a full 3 seasons now at this point, and it's just like there was a lot that made me sort of angry about this episode. That wasn't necessarily one of them, but it was, a little bit, like we sort of said, nitpicky. But it's just like, just an episode ago, we had Clarence die, and now it's just like for nothing, because like, I mean, we'll get through the rest of the episode, but it's like the main point of it is the Lord Commander goes after the hatching Titan. The team squad splits up and, has to go either fetch the Lord Commander and kill him or activate the Kevin net or whatever. And then, big final moments of the show is, guess what? None of your fucking plan worked. The Lord Commander is now a Titan. The Kevin net did nothing. Kevin Van Newton died for nothing. Clarence died for nothing. You're all fucked now. And so it's just like, you've got to be kidding me. You killed off a very great supporting character. Like, Kevin Van Newton, like I said, I did not expect to, love and grow to love as much as I did. But this episode of him just being sort of, he's still sort of crazy dad, like, what are we doing? Like, he's still sort of that mentally, but he was the voice of reason. He knew exactly what to do, how to enact it, like, in a sense, maybe a little too convenient for him to know all this information. But then again, if he's had time to think about all of this and, Nightfall sort of giving him, sort of the background of what his role is in all of this and how he needs to not only make these ships and make these teleporters and make these Kevin nets, as it were, he knows all of the little intricacies. So I guess that one is a little less convenient, like I said. He actually seems to be purposely there and know why he's there. But god damn, I guess it's just because of Tom Kenny's delivery throughout all of his voice lines this episodes and stuff like that for Kevin. He was just that guiding voice, dad sort of figure, and you could hear the emotion in his voice. He just delivered, some great lines, the whole self-sacrificial, I'm the Earth's greatest roboticist, and I'm staying on Earth. That's a great, just sort of self-sacrificial reasoning to just sort of give. And that's what I was sort of saying is, he knew his place. It sucks that he's gone. He deserved better than that. It sucks. But he played his part well.
Yeah, he did. I'm sort of indifferent with the character, honestly. He wasn't bad. He wasn't good for me. But I did like, how important he was for the episode, and of course Tom Kenny's performance. But I guess this is sort of one of the messages of the show, and one of the constant messages, that you can do everything and you can still fail. Even if it seems in vain, you can fail. But the important thing is to keep moving forward. And I have no idea how they're going to move forward after this, but I kind of love the twist, honestly. We already have 2 characters that were important in different seasons, and now they're dead, and now that means that the team squad is going to have a harder time on how to escape final space or how to handle Titans. It's juicy drama. I think it's more interesting than just having them just disappear and return them on some form in later episodes.
Oh, sure. I mean, I definitely agree. On the one hand, just sort of as a bystander, as it were, like a lot of this episode, like I said, sort of made me angry. One point that also made me angry was just like, so we're chasing after the Lord Commander. It's Avocado, arming this bomb. He's, locked and loaded, as it were. And he fucking pauses. He pauses to listen to the Lord Commander, and he should, hindsight 2020, what I would want from the episode is him just, saying, like, no, fuck you, and pressing the button immediately, and, like not even giving the Lord Commander a chance to even say what he wanted, because the no hesitation meant the bomb would have been activated sooner, which meant that, maybe they could have blown up the Lord Commander and the Titan before they merged or whatever, and like everyone would still be alive. Kevin Van Newton might still be alive, who knows, but like,
it is frustrating, especially
it's frustrating.
Gary did the same shit with Lord Commander on the episode The Remembered, where instead of just shooting him, he was just starting a monologue of being like, yeah, we're getting him back and all that, and everyone was like, just fucking shoot him. But that's the tricky part of writing, because I can see what are they trying to show. It is that Avocado and Lord Commander have a history together, and you don't want to be anticlimactic with that, they just want to settle this thing up and kind of build like an heroic moment for Avocado, even though it doesn't end like that. But I can see that, but I would have also liked that he would just, send the bomb to him and fuck him up. But it would feel kind of short, it like the scene had no momentum beforehand. But yeah, it's kind of frustrating when they do that twice and just get away with it.
Yeah, and I mean, it would be tonally a different sort of show if that were to happen.
Yeah.
That being said, I still wish it happened that way, just because, like, I totally agree, like, they want to give that backstory to Avocado and the Lord Commander, this now, however, Cheryl put it, like, family revenge, I'm on board, like, yeah, that was a good moment. But at the same time, just like, how differently would you think of Avocado if he did just do that? Like, no, fuck you, boom. Like, because he's in front of this massive cannon. It looks badass. And like, the animation, the lighting, the strings, the music, all of this. Like, again, I know I keep saying it, but like, this season is so fucking improved with everything. Even though I'm upset with this episode because, like you said, you could be doing everything right and still something just goes wrong. And it goes majorly wrong for you. Totally agree with that. Like that, it made for great tension this episode. And, watching like Avocado have this swagger in his walk as he's going towards the ship, and the lighting as he's, arming the cannon, and there's just this, you can see his shadow on the wall, and all of the heightened strings and thematic, just sort of themes going on with the music. This entire season has been such a treat to watch. Like, even though, like I said, I didn't necessarily like what happened this episode, visually watching it, it's so improved. And it's like going from season 1 to where we are now, like, just the commitment to improvement, it is paying off in spades right now. Like, this is the best season visually, thematically. We'll see if it's the best in terms of fan reaction at this point, but we'll see if we actually get a season 4. But I would agree, like, this is a very, very strong episode.
And yeah, I'm really surprised how far they've come with the animation and the show as well, like I mentioned. I think some of the shots feel much more cinematic than most of the show. And they have said that they wanted to build something something cinematic, but sometimes I don't quite see that, like visually speaking. But in this episode, it definitely shows off, and I think it would make Martin Scorsese so proud. He would just start clapping and say, "This is cinema! This is cinema!" You know.
Okay, they're Morde.
You can tell that they had like a higher budget than the usual Final Space episode. At least they invested more here, so it definitely paid off.
Oh, sure. They spent most of their budget on this episode and gave us fucking episode 6 and episode 9 where they killed off Clarence. They spent all their budget on this episode, so they had to kill off Conan O'Brien. Fuck!
You're never gonna let that go, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I will keep saying it because I believe it to be true, even though nobody else apparently believes it to be true. But Clarence was the best thing that they brought to the show because he was a morally gray character with his own motives. You know, he would sell out his own fucking family to make some more money. And, you know, for them to give him this backstory of, you know, oh, it's just things. Do you want a Clarence nugget? Fucking kill me. And then they do kill him, and there's nothing for it. There's literally nothing. We don't escape Final Space. The only people that do are, who is it?
Tribor.
Yeah, Tribor and Quattro, who have done nothing for this season. They've done nothing supportive in any fucking way. I mean, maybe they'll come in at the very end as, you know, the you know, savior on those flying rabbits or whatever they are, you know, and just be like, I'm here to save the team squad. And just, okay, boring. I don't care for it.
Okay, first of all, I think my brother would agree with you because he loves Conan and he loves Clarence. And like, he hasn't watched the rest of the episodes of season 3, but at one point he told me, I miss the Conan O'Brien character. And I told him, oh yeah, he's coming back. Oh yay! But like, he doesn't know yet, so he's gonna have a similar reaction than you. And second of all, yeah, I'm not really happy with the Tribor and Quattro Nostro thing you mentioned, and neither as them as characters. You know, I don't think they're great either. But it's what we take. It's what we get. But like, I guess what they're trying to do is. Well, they're trying to, you know, still have some fun with the character, but at the same time, they just want him to, you know, stay away from the team squad. So eventually, when he can come back and do his usual insaneness things, they can just kill him. You know, I have a feeling they're gonna kill him eventually, and I honestly wouldn't mind because Tribor always stood out to me as an annoying character. And that's just me, I'm sorry. But I never found him funny, even in season 1 when he was just, you know, with the team in the end and just repeating, am I doing this? I am.
I would say that Tribor was more endearing in season 1, but I get that. It's not necessarily funny, but he came off as a bit more, you know, this weird, awkward alien.
Yeah, instead of all the sassiness we're getting from him now. But like, Tribor's a bit too crazy of a character, and now Final Space sort of moving on to something a bit more serious. It's still a comedy, but Tribor kind of represents an era on the show that just doesn't really belong there, at least for me. So I don't think it belongs there anymore. So I don't know. I don't see it kind of working with the team squad because Tribor has always been an independent character. Even in season 2, he was sort of doing that. You know, he didn't really help much on the team squad. So when he left again, I was like, whatever. Let's just focus on the real characters I care about. So I won't cry if he dies. I'm sure many will. Sorry, I'm changing the topic here a bit. But I'm starting to think that episode 9 is starting to give you some Vietnam War flashbacks because you keep mentioning the episode instead of, you know, on this episode we're talking about.
What's this about Vietnam War flashbacks?
Sorry if this is offensive though, but I like you talk episode 9 like it was the most horrific thing ever, and like
because it was, Morde.
They just killed Conan. Oh my god. They can. Oh wait, they can't. Okay, never mind.
Like I sort of said on the previous episode, it's not that I think that episode 9 is bad. I just don't agree with its content. In terms of telling a story, it was great. It was a good episode in that way. I just don't think they needed to kill Clarence, and the way that they killed Clarence, I did not enjoy. You know, you can listen to my thoughts on the previous episode, because it disrespected my favorite character, the way that they portrayed his death. I would say, you know, kind of still comparing apples to apples, episode 9 versus episode 10, you know, and having watched Olin for a while now, you know, originally a fan of his YouTube series and channels and stuff like that, to kind of go back to the repetitive humor, as it were, how I was complaining about that, in a different sense of the word repetitive, I think there was a moment in this episode where it succeeded in the sense of it wasn't necessarily repetitive, but it was just like, oh yeah, the relay station is in Wisconsin. Wisconsin? Yeah, it's got a great, you know, college campus and stuff like that. Oh, really? It sounds like you've been to Wisconsin. Like, that sort of expansive humor, as it were, like we're building upon like the ridiculousness of the situation, I think is where Olin succeeds, because a lot of his YouTube skits and stuff like that is building upon absurdity. So the fact that, you know, we're in London on a decrepit Earth, you know, we have to get this thing ready. Oh, hey, in order to get it ready, it's on the opposite side of the Earth in Wisconsin. Wisconsin? Why Wisconsin? Well, you know, have you seen the college towns over there? They're great. Cheddar cheese capital of the world. Like, building upon that absurdity, like, and the sort of non sequiturs, as it were. Olin really excels at that. Like, that moment I did appreciate, but, you know, that's not necessarily repetitive, unlike, you know, the previous one where it's just like, am I the liberator? Yes. Or, you know, next episode, am I the liberator? Yes. Like, fuck you, that didn't work.
I love the show, but it can get hit and miss moments like that. So I agree.
Again, sort of with the absurdity. Like, you know, Avocado's on this mission to destroy the Lord Commander. And he tells his son that he can't go. And then suddenly he finds his son locked away in a closet. And he's like, son, you shouldn't be here. It's too dangerous for you. Is that a bomb? Yes. Oh, sweet. I'm so glad you're here, son. Like, I'm suddenly back on board because there's a bomb. Like, what on earth? Like, that was just a little too, I don't even know what to say about that. But I was just like, come on, Avocado. You can't just immediately flip to, like, be okay.
Avocado has ADHD.
Yeah, well, like, just being suddenly, like, I'm not okay with my son being here. There's a bomb. I'm okay with my son being here so he can watch me being a badass. Like, come on.
I think I could excuse that by saying that knowing that they have a bomb and a way to just destroy Lord Commander in case, and knowing that it's a safe one, I guess he felt more confident that Little Caron wouldn't be on danger, so that's why he switched the mood very quickly. That's my theory, but you know.
And then the only other thing that I had a gripe with, and it was kind of inevitable, like when you when you say something like, Quinn, we won, it's over. It's like, no, you fucking idiot, you jinxed it. And lo and behold, what happens? They fucking jinxed it. And now we get to see the very, very ugly looking Lord Commander Titan. I was not a fan of this design because it just looked ugly.
That's the point. It doesn't have to look sexy or cute, you know.
Listen more. Just because I also had a note saying that Bolo's got those wide birthing hips doesn't mean that I'm expecting sexy titans. But, like, you know, if we're talking about eldritch horrors and, you know, monsters so mind-bendingly confusing to look at, and you can't comprehend what you're even looking at. Well, I comprehended what I looked at, and it was just ugly.
It was a result of a mutation. What do you expect? He's not like a natural born Titan. It's supposed to look ugly.
I mean, I guess, but I mean, to be fair, the Lord Commander was also very ugly to begin with. Especially that personality of his.
Nah, he was just like a dwarf, a green dwarf who was like, make me a Titan! Now it feels like a legit threat now, and I can take him more seriously this way.
Especially because he was insubordinate to Invictus, and now he's made himself a Titan. He kind of has grasped, taken into his own hands, quite literally, becoming a Titan versus, in previous seasons, and I guess even just earlier within this season, kind of asking Invictus, like, when will you make me a Titan? And then he sees the opportunity to make himself a Titan, and he takes it. Which, he wants to be the ruler of the universe and kill everything, I guess. And, now... which is going to be the bigger threat? Is it going to be the Lord Commander Titan now, as it were? The Lord Titan, maybe? Is that going to be his new name?
Oh, God, no. That sounds awful.
It's either going to be the Lord Titan or Invictus. Which one is going to be the bigger threat to, I guess, the universe?
They could start having a fight, but I'm still sure that Lord Titan is going to lose. Regardless, because Invictus is just huge. Okay, so I was watching the episode live, and the moment that the characters were all happy and the Kevin Net was just starting to connect and all that, I was thinking something is gonna go so horribly wrong, and I'm gonna love it. And the moment I sent that to the chat text on the Final Space Discord, it was the moment when they started to reveal the Lord Titan coming out of the earth and destroying the Kevin Net, and everyone was like, "What? No!" And I'm just laughing, being like, "Oh my God, what are they going to do now?" So I thought it was a very kind of predictable, but you can expect that when you watch too many TV shows and movies. But it was still an exciting twist. I was gonna mention just something a bit technical for the audience tonight. What I've noticed about this season in particular, that not only the pacing is much better, but this is the slowest episode of the whole show so far. But I mean that in a good way, because they leave some air between the characters when they say things, and you can feel much better the tension in the action scenes, and I just like that much more, because in season 1 it was going so annoyingly fast that it just legit made me angry. Season 2 fixed that, not as much, but it still fixed that in a way. And well, season 3 has much better pacing in my opinion. Although that scene you mentioned with Avocado that says that line, I thought it was a bit weirdly edited. Like, before he says that Queen and Gary sort of engage with him for a bit, and they just leave like a couple of seconds of just them being sort of frozen, if you know what I mean. Like, they say their lines and they just stop, And I thought, okay, maybe you need to cut here just a bit and then cut to Avocado, if you understand what I mean. And also, at the beginning, I sort of felt that this was going to be an Avocado episode, and in the end, that was just like the first act. And I'm not mad or anything, but it felt, for me, it felt a bit weird seeing Avocado more often, saying more lines, and even reacting happy to things. That's just me, of course, but like, I just felt, wow, I don't think they've done this before. Maybe the happier scenes with Avocado don't stick with me. I'm not sure, but yeah, I liked it.
Well, to be fair, just a couple of episodes ago, he was crying because he wasn't Little Cato's real dad, and he was beating up Gary because of it. So having a small happy moment for him definitely is a bit sort of like, whoa, you can smile. Okay. Hi, avocado.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, though. Do you have any sort of final thoughts on the episode, Mord?
Well, it is a very thrilling episode. It's also groundbreaking for the show, and I think it made several people, I think it made several fans happy until it didn't. And even if I could foresee some things, I'm still glad that they went for that direction because dramatically it felt that it was the right choice for me. I did not agree with all the options. Maybe just I did not agree with all the technical aspects of it. Most likely editing, but I'm still happy and I shouldn't complain because I'm not professionally working on the industry right now. So I give it an 8, regardless. I think it's great.
Groundbreaking. They broke the entire Earth, Mord.
My God.
But yeah, I would definitely still give it an 8 as well. Like I sort of said, I think it was another strong episode. Not quite my favorite, just because, again, another character I grew to love was unfortunately killed off. And
the next is Biscuit.
In the words of my high school yearbook teacher, it really feels relevant right now for this episode. But his quote was, life sucks and then you die. And that definitely feels like this episode right now. Well, thank you again for listening to another episode of TERA CON Prime Time. I was Jeremy.
And I was Morde, and I hope I'm still in tomorrow.
You hope you're still in tomorrow?
No, I hope I'm still am Morde tomorrow.
Oh.
My English is so bad. Oh my God.
No, it's all good. And we will see you in another episode of TERA CON Prime Time, where we review Season 3, Episode 11, When the Dead Speak. We'll see you next time.